Hey guys, so we are sitting here and just talking about what we're doing an experiment here with Second Chance Cars in Greater Lawrence Technical School, and so far as having a vocational school partner help us fix cars. So I know what I'm getting out of it is Second Chance Cars. I'm getting really good value because you guys fix the cars for no labor and just cost of parts. But I'm wondering how it's working for you. That is, what benefits, if any, you see from working on our cars versus working on regular customers' cars. So if you just want to hopefully hopefully there's some benefits. So the floor is yours to share whatever you think they are.
Would you like to go first, John? From the start?
You can go first, Mike. Talk
Okay.
about the time frame.
So, from my point of view, working with Second Chance Cars and Dan, he brings me a car, and it's pretty much a carte blanche project where there's no pressure for time to finish the car. There is no budgetary issues. I know right out of the gate exactly what my bottom line is, what he can afford to put into each vehicle. So there's not a lot of time that we have to deal with estimates and things like that. But the biggest thing for me is that with the time that's allotted for each car, we can get involved in more intense projects and that are actually more difficult for the students to complete because we have the extra time that we need to do those types of projects and to let the students kind of like figure things out along the way. And it also helps us to actually dive into some of the theoretical ends of what's going on with that car and kind of connect the dots, if you will.
Yeah.
And for me and for my other fellow instructors, I mean, the program has worked really well for the past 2 years, and that's during COVID time. So I'm looking forward to what it's going to look like when things are like kind of back to normal, I guess,
Yeah.
if there ever is such a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is that my students really get a lot out of it because they have the opportunity to dive into a problem in a car and try and figure it out for themselves versus me helping them along the way to go through the steps. They get
Right.
to kind of sink or swim, if you will.
Right.
And there's really no pressure to be done that day.
Right.
Like we have it for however long we need it for most cases, and very rare am I ever crunched for time on any vehicle that Second Chance Cars brings to my shop.
That's great. That's
So-
great. John?
So when you talk about that, Mike, I think what that kind of says is that we always try to simulate the real world in our students' experiences. So when the students are working on a Second Chance car, and as Mike says, that they get to do an analysis as if they're the mechanic, and they have to figure out what the problem is and what caused the problem, so that it can be prevented in the future, possibly not. But many times mechanical problems are due to some irregular, something that the driver may have done that they shouldn't be doing when
Right.
they drive the car. So doing an analysis on the cause and then an analysis on how do we fix this car.
Yeah.
Doing the thinking and the troubleshooting and that takes time.
Yeah.
And being able to apply the theory that they learned in the classroom to the actual problem that's going on with the car is an application that just reinforces the knowledge of the theory, and then also proves to them how critical it is to have that theory when you're trying to actually repair a vehicle. That it's not just about taking things apart, but it's also understanding the best approach, so that you don't troubleshoot by trying one thing, it didn't work, try something
Right.
else. You try to figure it out before you do the job, and so that's so important. So working with Second Chance Cars is really making a difference for the depth of knowledge the kids get out of a project, out of a vehicle job. And then I think the other big thing is the value it brings to students understanding that what they do in terms of a mechanic is important to people's lives. And in this case, particularly, they feel good about not only because they're helping people fix a car in which they may need it for work, or makes a difference in whether they can go to work if they have a vehicle, but they're helping a veteran that needs extra help at this point, can't afford to buy a car, can't afford to fix a car. So they're making a difference in somebody's life,
Right.
which instills and inspires kids to see firsthand that what they do matters
Right.
and can have make a difference in people's lives. So that makes, when you feel good about what you do in your life, you work harder, you're more motivated to do
Yeah.
the job and do a quality job.
Yeah.
Those are things that are instilled in kids that secondhand cars really helps to reinforce
Yeah.
and get kids to really impacts them and and helps them connect to the value of their work. And when you value what you do, you value yourself.
Yeah.
And that's critically important for adolescents and kids in high school.
Yeah. And that's what helps them basically be more empowered as students and behave appropriately.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Well, we one of my highlights is holding award ceremonies here and really highlighting the staff and students' work, and the fact that it helps them succeed, not just in the moment, sort of to feel good, but actually in the longer term, if that's what you're implying,
Yes.
to just make them feel like they're part of a community here and they want to belong. That's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
I also-
Go ahead, Mike.
I also think that when we have those award ceremony, it puts it in perspective to them that they're part of something bigger than just fixing cars.
Yeah.
You know, they become part of this group, if you will, of Second Chance Cars that is comprised of many moving parts, and
Yeah.
they all have to work together in order for it to be a successful program.
Yeah.
And we talk to them all the time about how it's a non-profit program and what that means. You know, because they don't necessarily know what that means
Right.
out of the gate in high
Right.
school.
Right.
So we explain that to them in depth so that they understand that, you know, people are in this to help people.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily to make a fortune.
Yeah.
To help people.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're an auto mechanic, a construction worker, a service advisor, an electrician, I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
When you're working for your family, which is something that you need to do, and it's a very good thing to do. You're there to make money, versus what this is you're there to help somebody
Right.
who needs you.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. And they
Yeah.
realize that after having the award ceremony. You know,
Yeah.
they may or may not be making that connection the whole time
Right.
that they're working on the vehicle, but when
Right.
the award ceremony comes,
Yeah.
they understand it.
Yeah. It clicks.
And it's a big deal.
You know it because you see it in their eyes and you
Yeah.
see their attitudes and how excited they are.
Yeah.
But when you tell them, oh, we're going to have another ceremony, it's like the kids are excited.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
You know it matters.
That's awesome.
And it's
Yeah.
not even just that, it's gotten to the point now that, you know, when I bring a car in that doesn't have a license plate on it, they immediately know where that car came from, and the students are asking me, can we get to work on that?
Oh, no way. Oh,
So, I mean,
man.
that's a big deal too, you know,
Oh.
because they realize what the outcome is.
Yeah.
So they feel like
They want to be
a part of
associated
it.
with it. Oh my God, that's
You know?
beautiful. That's
So
beautiful. I love hearing
It's
that.
a good thing. I mean, it's been a great relationship for us in the shop. I think it's been great for the school. I think it's been great for you.
It's been great like I said, that's how I led into this interview. I know it's working for me. I know I love it, but I want to make sure that you love it because the partnership, both sides have to love it. So
Right.
this conversation helped me kind of confirm that, and I'm grateful to both of you for being
Yeah.
part of our community of goodness.
You know, it's unfortunate that we only have so many spaces, you know, because I could take more at a time. But I'm kind of limited to 2 at a time, I think.
Well, no, we're good.
Which
No
gives
worries.
you probably a total of 3 anyways, with the body shop having 1
Yeah,
at a time.
right. No, we're good. No complaints on my side, but thank you.
Yeah. One of the things I think we don't want to miss is that the fact that these cars are for veterans. And first, it's a way of the students thanking veterans for what they've done. And it gives us a chance to talk about that.
Yeah.
And to respect and have, conversations we probably wouldn't have
Mhm.
if we weren't doing it for veterans. And the kids start to understand and start to have a little more respect for the veterans in our country.
Mhm.
And we can never do enough for our veterans. So this, to me, is just makes it even that much more valuable and exciting to do something that way.
And I also
Terrific.
think it's a good experience for the kids to see those people who are the recipients of the vehicle and to see their emotions, because
Yeah.
most of them get emotional
Yeah.
while it's happening, and
Yeah.
some of them very emotional, and some of them just a little bit.
Yeah.
But for kids to see people getting emotional in front
Yeah.
of a large group of people
because of the work they did.
because of the work that they did
Yeah,
brings the
yeah.
whole human aspect
Yeah.
into it,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
and
Right.
and makes
right.
them feel it rejuvenates them. It makes them feel good inside,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
that's not something you get from the normal just car repair.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, obviously the customers are thankful and whatnot, but it's not the same kind of feeling.
Yeah.
and I think it's good for the students to experience that.
Yeah.
And it's also a pathway for them to look at doing something different, because we have conversations with them. You can be an automotive technician in the military.
Yeah. Oh.
So
Yeah.
if you are thinking about, if this is making you think about the military,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can decide to go that path.
Yeah.
And not that I want to take anything away from any other aspect of the military,
Right.
but most of the automotive technicians that work in the military are typically not the ones getting shot at.
Yeah.
They're somewhere where they're working
Yeah.
in a semi-safe environment,
Yeah.
working on the vehicles.
Yeah. Yeah. They can contribute in a way that's safer and
Right.
critical.
And critical.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
critical.
Yeah. Well, I've found this conversation rejuvenating. So you guys rejuvenated me. And I want to thank you both, and I look forward to keeping working with you. Thank you.
You're
Absolutely.
welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to do it.